Let's roll out the big music. A legend of music, an icon of South Africa. You are truly privileged if you've ever seen this man perform live. Please welcome Mr. Johnny Clegg.
Yes.
We don't do that for many, sir.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, Johnny Clegg.
Thanks, guys.
Can everybody please refer to him as Sir from here on out?
Noted.
He's being knighted in South Africa for his contribution to music. Johnny, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Great having you on the show today.
I'd hate to think this is the final lap, that we're never going to speak to you again, because you've not going to be touring anymore. You've shut that with South Africa. No more shows. And generally before shows, that's when you interview people. A new song that we're going to play today, King of Times. Sure.
I'll be doing albums and collaborations probably with some other artists somewhere down the line. But from the live side, I've hung up my boots. And we'll be busy with other things to fill my time, doing an autobiography. I'm interested in culture and identity as a personal journey that I've been through over the past 50 years, and distilling that into some kind of set of talks which I can share with either my colleagues in academia or corporates or schools or whatever. So I think that I will be out on the talk circuit at some point as well. So yeah, I'll come back and talk to you about my book.
Okay, so it's not the final lap.
No. Well, yeah, it's on the public live show aspect of it, yes. But I'm a multi-layered chap.
No, you absolutely
It sounds
are.
like you're just refocusing your energy.
Yeah, yes.
So you're not saying goodbye, just goodbye to the stage.
Yes.
I learned so much about you watching your show here at Grand West, where you talk in between every song and you give the story. A lecturer of social anthropology at Wits, and then you fell into music.
Yeah.
That must have been...
I didn't quite fall into it. I was actually doing music before I went to university, so I was moonlighting, teaching in the day, and continuing recording albums and touring the townships at night. And in 1983, on the 4th Juluka album, we had a top 50 hit in England, and that was, I had to make a choice whether I wanted to continue, because I'd been at university for 12 years, and so it was my chosen vocation. And I went to see my prof, and I said, I will always regret not having given it a shot. So I'm going to take a sabbatical. And he said, I'll never see you again once you walk out the door. and I said, no, because I really did enjoy teaching.
Yeah.
And he was dead right. I only went back for a cup of tea and a chat.
The sabbatical lasted 40 years.
40 years sabbatical.
But here's the thing, I don't think you ever stopped teaching. The stage changed. It wasn't a classroom anymore, but your performances, I wish we had more smart musicians, because you say something.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I'm just still very curious about human behavior. I chose that subject to follow because when I went, into orientation week, when you first arrive, it's quite a new thing at university, and you're quite intimidated, and you go into this big hall, and they have all the disciplines, all plying their particular subject because they want to have good, respectable numbers in their first year. And so, I looked at politics and philosophy and Russian one and French, and then I came on anthropology, and I picked up the pamphlet, and I looked at it and I thought, but I've been doing this for years, since I was 14, So it's a natural extension of my interest that I developed in culture and in worldviews and ideas that other peoples, races, cultures, languages have. So I was a natural at it, and I did well, and they offered me a job after I finished, and I took it. But I also was experimenting with cross-cultural hybrid music. And
Sure, I thought you were going to say experimenting with drugs at varsity.
Oh boy, there are lots of that as well.
Listen, what a body of work that you have. We've whittled it down to like 10, and I just want to play that for you.
Ubani benga thinta mabubesi Tempe Bona simpieza Ubani benga thinta mabubesi
I love the Scatterlings of Africa, each and every one. In their hearts a burning hunger beneath the copper sun. Oh, it's only you that remains with me, clear as the light of day.
Osieza, Sizofika webaba noma Osieza, siyakudla nomhlaba Siyawela naphesheya Kulezo ntaba zemnyama Lapha sobheka phansi Konke kuhlupheka
I'm searching for the spirit of the great heart to hold and keep me by. I'm searching for the spirit of the great heart under African skies. Sometimes I feel that you really know me. Sometimes there's so much you can show me.
Those are just a few of the songs, Johnny. Listening to that, your music evokes a certain emotion in someone. What is your favorite song out of that crop?
Scatterlings. Not particularly for new musical reasons. A lot of people are quite dumbfounded when I say that, but that song launched Juluka. It broke my academic career because I gave up my academic career in 1983 to become a professional performer and entertainer. And then 3 or 4 years later, when Savuka was launched, my producer Hilton Rosenthal on the first album said, "Let's redo that song." And I was a little bit irritated because, I'd said, look, that song was written, it's done. You don't ask a painter to repaint the painting 5 years later for a new exhibition,
Yeah,
So it's a done work, it's finished. And he said, no, but we'll do it differently. So I said, how? He said, well, the first one was in a 6/8 rhythm. We'll put a snare drum in and we'll do this and do that and whatever. And anyway, after chipping away, I finally acceded to re-recording it. Maybe I'm the first artist in the world that covered their own song.
Breaking ground.
Yeah, breaking ground. Yeah.
You plagiarize yourself.
I plagiarized myself. and it went to number 1 in France, Switzerland, and Belgium, and launched my second band. So that song is very important in my repertoire, basically for the fact that it enabled, both my bands to get an international platform. So I'm very fond of it.
Now, Cruel, Crazy, Beautiful World, you wrote that for your son when he was
That's
born.
right.
Jesse,
yes,
eh?
Yes, that's right, yeah. 1980, 89, yeah.
I remember interviewing Jesse when he arrived on the music scene.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, here's Jesse. Who's Jesse? It's Jesse Clegg. Jesse Clegg, Johnny Clegg. Yes, it is. And the instructions in the interview, it was made very clear that please don't hang on to the fact that it's Johnny Clegg's son. He wanted to make it in his own right as a musician.
Correct. Yeah.
And he didn't want to piggyback off his dad's success. He wanted to give it a full go on his own. And so we didn't even mention, this is Jesse Clegg. Didn't even say the word Johnny once in the interview. And you finally, on your final run, you performed live with your son. Was there a conversation that happened before he launched his music career?
Yes, there was.
Yeah?
First of all, Jesse, like any, I suppose, child that grows up in a celebrity family, there's lots of pressure on them. The parents are often not that aware of it, but like at school, they would say, "Can you do a Zulu dance? Or can you speak Zulu? Can you do this? Can you do that? Whatever." And he. One day when I think he was about 6 or 7, I took him to a party of one of his friends who arrived at the house, and he introduced himself to the mother. And he said, "I'm Jesse Clegg and I don't speak Zulu." and my heart broke. I thought, what pressure is this guy under?
Yeah.
At 6.
At 6, I became a lot more sensitive to those things, and when he started writing and playing at the age of 15, he wouldn't. I never heard his kind of play guitar. There, can you give me? I never heard him play guitar. Then he went for singing lessons. I never heard him sing.
So he never came to you for singing lessons?
Nothing. No. He went. He did his own thing. He then wrote 3 songs and then said, "Can you find me somebody to do the demos?" And I did. And the guy who did the demos phoned me the next day and he said, "Are you a songwriter on here?" So I said, "No." I said, "I don't even know what the songs are like." He said, "These are serious songs." Sure. So when they were finished and he played them to me, I fell out my chair. I couldn't believe it. It was like that this had happened over the past 3 years in my own family on a daily basis, that this was unfolding and I never saw it, and it was a secret. He kept it secret.
Wow.
And then we had a discussion and he said, there's benefits and burdens of being Jesse Clegg, but what I want to do is I don't want to be on stage with you. I want people to understand I found my own voice. I've got my own idea about music. I'm writing my own kind of music and I'm finding my own way. So if at any time at a music festival that we are both booked on the same show, let's just try and play as far apart as possible. And if you see me, just nod.
Well, it was one of the most beautiful moments, knowing the history, witnessing the two of you get on stage for the very first time at Grand West Casino in Cape Town. There was not a dry eye in the place, and I recorded this from my cell phone. Amazing stuff, eh? What was that like for you, Johnny?
It was, people used to ask us, when are you guys going to do something together? And I said, when I hang up my boots, we'll do something. What actually happened is that I went into the studio last year in March to do the King of Time album. And Jesse was a kind of an executive producer. And him and Denham, the producer, said to me, look, we want you to get out of the idea that you're making an album. What we're going to try and do is we're going to do 6, 7, 8, 10 songs that come up that we choose, and they must stand alone. They must not be part of a group of other songs. They must be internally coherent, stand up for themselves, so that each of them could be a single, even if they're different styles or different types of music, which I do this hybrid crossover. So I said, okay, that's a new idea. And then they said, well, and there's also some other stuff. Your verses are too long for a single. If you're going to treat them as singles, you're going to have to reduce your writing, because you tend to have two verses before chorus. So they were quite strict with me. It was very interesting, and in the middle of all of this, Jesse phoned me and said, Dad, I wrote a song for you, which I'd like you to sing on. If it's not on your album, it'll be on my album, and I'd like you to hear it. And it blew me away when I heard it. So I sang on that song with him. It's our duet. It's called I've Been Looking, and
it's a beautiful song. It really is.
Yeah.
You played it live. That was when you played on stage. Yeah. So that's going to come out. Your first, your song off your new album. We're going to play that. We've also taken votes on Facebook. What is people's favorite Johnny Clegg song of all time? And it's between two. It's Great Heart and Scatterlings.
Ah, wow.
And the eventual winner was Scatterlings.
Yo!
Yes.
That's amazing.
Your favorite.
I could talk to you all day, Johnny. I really could. But let's get this song on now first. Scatterlings of Africa, Johnny Clegg in studio. It's 5 to 8. Scatterlings of Africa. It is the great Johnny Clegg in studio with us. You know what I'm seeing a lot of? This is a lot of people saying this is the best radio interview I've ever heard. And it's not because we have any particular skill set. It's the fact that it's you, sir, Johnny Clegg. And, time stands still. We spoke to you for 20 minutes.
Wow.
And normally the rule for interviewing is don't go over 10 minutes. But it felt like 3 minutes speaking to you.
I'm the king of time. What can I say?
Johnny, here's some messages that have come through for you on our WhatsApp telephone.
Johnny Clegg was the first show that my boyfriend and I watched together. It was very special at the Kirstenbosch summer concerts.
Sitting here in the car, Darren, and you know what? The Afrikaner will say, ek het hoendervleis tot op my tone. 'n Eysterman, 'n legend wat ons land kom verander het, en hierdie liedjies het soveel waarde wat hier speel. Klas.
Nice.
It was like the first live show that we had gone to. I just couldn't get enough of this. And I was standing next to the speaker, right in the front. And I walked out of there with a burst eardrum, and I still love the man. It was great. It was fantastic. He burst my eardrum. It was so loud. It was awesome.
Goosebumps on every single track. On every single track.
You know what? This guy makes me fall in love with my country again. Thank you so much. Thank you, Johnny.
I'm just listening to the interview, and wow, what a humble man. He is internationally acclaimed. He's got so many albums and so many hits, and he's still so humble. You can't actually help but to love this man.
Johnny, here's a message that I'm going to read to you verbatim. We are so blessed to have lived in the time of Johnny Clegg. He is truly a critical element in the glue that has bound this nation together through all its ups and downs. Thank you, Johnny. Standing ovation. Hey?
That's amazing. Thank you.
Very few artists get that sort of acclaim. I want to play... look, we've got news coming up at 8. I want to get your new single in now. I don't want to lose momentum. Johnny, your new single, and then we'll let you go. We know you've got other places to go. Tell us about King of Times.
King of Time is... it's really... it's a kind of an ironic title. It's saying that I've managed to last for 4 decades doing my different hybrid music, which was highly experimental for its time, singing Zulu and English in the same song, singing English with Zulu melody, traditional melodies, and singing English English with traditional Zulu melodies and Zulu with country and western and folk and rock melodies. So it was at that time of cultural segregation. It was often banned on radio, and I had to start off with my partners playing live wherever we could. So King of Time is really saying, I'm still standing, I'm still here. But on the other side, time has left me behind. I am leaving the stage, but for the period that I was there, I was king of time.
Power.
But your music is being passed on from generation to generation. You just have to look at a Johnny Clegg live show. Child is there, mom is there, granny is there, great grandma's there.
Jeez.
And like I told you, you had to say goodbye to the academia because you needed a bigger classroom. And that classroom was the world, quite literally.
Yeah.
Locally, you were part of such a big part of our country's history, and then sharing that love, that knowledge with the world. We thank you.
Thank you. No, it's been a wonderful journey. I've been blessed in many respects by the people who championed what I did. There were a lot of people you don't know of in the early days. I must also say my mom was amazing. She was my biggest producer. She produced me twice. First as a human, and then as a champion of my music with Sipho Mqunu, and she used to run around driving everybody mad. You must hear my son.
Yeah.
Him and his friends Sipho, they play this music. It's unbelievable, And then we would come and we would play traditional Maskanda music, and people say, what is this? And she would say, it's marvelous, listen to it.
This is my boy.
That was your first fan, hey,
my
mommy?
first fan, mommy, yeah.
We've got Kathy on. How's it, Kathy?
Hey, Darren, how's it going?
A lot of people saying they've got lumps in their throats, their eyes are filled with tears, hey?
I just want to, sorry, I'm very emotional this morning. I just want to thank Johnny for the music that he's given us, because as a foster mom and as a mom that's adopted kids, it's very hard to find something that we can all enjoy together, because we come from such different parts of the world and diversities and everything. And Johnny Clegg kind of brings us all together, and his CD's in my car, and all my kids love it. So the kids from the Safe House, the kids from the Soup Kitchen, we play it quite often. And this morning, my son, who's got fetal alcohol syndrome, and myself were jiving to your songs.
Oh, thanks.
And we just love you. Just know that you're such a big part of our family, and, you are such an inspiration. And hearing that, you speak about your son, who we also love, by the way, it really is. It's just, you're so human, and you get us, and you're so important.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. You really are huge. Thank you very, very much.
Cheers, Kath.
Thanks.
Beautiful
Bye.
words. Listen, we're going to have to go to news, and then we're coming back with your brand new single, King of Time, straight out of news.
Thank you.
It is 8:05. This Hour's news is brought to you by Safely Home, Western Cape Government and the City of Cape Town, making progress possible together.
On KFM 94.5, this is Eyewitness News.
Clear skies across most parts of the province today. George 22, Cape Town, Grabo and Langebaan 26, and Laingsburg 31 degrees. Good Good morning, I'm Chanel September. Local government and municipal officials have agreed taps at health facilities in the Cape Peninsula will not be shut off should we reach day zero. Premier Helen Zille this week presented health officials with measures currently in place and planned interventions going forward. As more Cape Townians appear to be adhering to the city's call to save water, day zero has been pushed back by 4 days. Meanwhile, organisers of the annual Riebeek Valley Olive Festival say it would have been irresponsible to continue with this year's event amidst a water crisis in the province. The event has since been cancelled. Chairperson of the Riebeek Valley Tourism Association, Klaus Piprick.
It's not a decision we've taken lightly. It wasn't easy, but we thought it would be irresponsible to continue with it.
Other news dominating this morning's news agenda, former PRASA Chief Executive Lucky Montana says the Guptas were defeated in their attempts to infiltrate the passenger rail agency, but not for a lack of trying. He says Tony Gupta and the President Sanduduzani Zuma tried to have him removed for not bending to their will. President Jacob Zuma has until the close of business today to make representations to the National Prosecuting Authority on why he should not be formally charged of fraud and corruption. The Supreme Court set aside the 2009 decision by then prosecution's boss, Mokotedi Mshe, to withdraw the criminal case against Zuma. The Gauteng Education Department says it's still trying to determine exactly how many pupils have been affected by the sex scandal at the Regenpark High School in Boksburg. Pictures and videos of the school headmaster having sex with pupils in his office have been making the rounds on social media. To Oudtshoorn now, where some community members are calling for justice following the murder of SANDF official Preston Titus. The local magistrates court this week postponed the case against the slain official's wife, Magdalene Titus, to mid-February for a formal bail application. She's accused of ordering a hit on her husband in December. Community leader Leon Kampfer.
Justice mustn't give bail to Magdalene Titus and the other accused. I mean, to stab him with a knife 27 times, to hit him with a hammer, that's cruel.
And finally, a free kiddies party? No way. Well, this is at least two for one British mother who's defended her decision to charge for children to attend her twin son's birthday party despite being criticised by some parents. Ruma Ali, whose boys turn 5 tomorrow, has asked parents to contribute £6 or about 96 Rand per child to the costs. The single mother explained that she made the decision as the boys are in separate classes and have a lot of friends. The top story in Eyewitness News at this hour: local government and municipal officials have agreed taps at health facilities in the Cape Peninsula will not be shut off should we reach day zero.
Eyewitness News on KFM 94.5. For more, click ewn.co.za.
Okay, here it is. The brand new single from Johnny Clegg, King of Time. Brand new from Johnny Clegg, King of Time.
Thank you.
He is back in the room. The man with the Midas touch. He literally can sing the dictionary from back to front and it'll be a hit.
Oh,
you know that?
Thank you, darling.
Oh, man. You know, as I said, your music evokes such an emotion and a certain nostalgia. I know I lived overseas for about 3-4 years and everybody had a Johnny Clegg CD. And whenever the South Africans got together, out comes Johnny Clegg.
Standard.
And we had to do the Johnny Clegg dance, and we had to sit and reminisce about our home while listening to you, sir.
Oh, music is a very deep connection in culture and everybody's culture. It's a very powerful thing.
We've had a few questions saying, why isn't Johnny Clegg playing at K-Day? I've already asked. And they said, no, we did a final tour.
Yes.
And now we can't go back and...
Yeah, it's a final tour. Yeah.
Are you sure, Johnny?
Listen,
just 2 songs, 3 songs.
I mean, we pay well, eh?
I've got this VIP area going. I'll give you some VIP tickets.
Yeah, somebody was talking about, so when you're coming out of retirement, I said, look, I just retired. I said, no, you know, I'm giving myself a long break and dealing with some health issues, and we'll see how it turns out.
And how is the health now, Johnny?
I'm in remission, but it's a constant issue of monitoring and keeping my health, in the best, total surveillance, actually. So it's blood tests and all that stuff, just to keep myself going. And, thank God everything's be going perfectly, but this year I need to focus on that as well. As a lot of the touring and the traveling and the physical thing, sometimes destabilizes me a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, your performances are high energy.
Yeah,
There's kicking, there's jumping.
Yes, sure.
You commit.
Yeah.
You don't leave anything back.
No.
You know,
full on total onslaught.
Cirque du Soleil.
Johnny, when you were doing your theatrics on stage at Grand West, I was like, my man, you're gonna break a hip. Just please chill. My mom just recently broke her hip. I know.
Oh, shame.
So it's like, please, just chill. You know what I mean?
It's just so lovely how your face lights up when you talk about your performances. And so as we are having fun, you are having fun too.
Yeah, no.
And in speaking of the farewell tour, was it different? Were those last few local shows difficult for you?
Yeah, the whole tour has been, bittersweet. Obviously, when I'm on stage and I'm doing this, and it crosses my mind all the time, but I can keep on doing this forever,
Yeah.
But I know that that's an illusion. I've got to also respect. The indications that I've got from my body that, that I've just got to calm down a bit and give myself a bit of time to rest and regroup.
Johnny, you've inspired so many. What is your advice to upcoming musicians who dream of having a 10th of the career that you've had?
All I can say really is that I think musicians come out of their time. I came out of a particular time. The time now is a very difficult time for music, because music is competing with many other cultural products that never existed when I started. So you're competing with video games, you're competing with DSTV, you're competing with cocooning, families just not wanting to go out to watch shows, and so there's a whole new way to move forward, which obviously is to get into the digital space, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff, but playing live, because in the end, it's the sensuous engagement of an artist with another human being in a live moment, which creates the magic of performance. I think that's where the short of it is give your all on stage, find ways to arrange, produce your songs so that people can get into it, can go into their heads and they can take it away with them. It's a very important part of getting yourself across, and it's a much bigger battle than it used to be.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, we've got some more WhatsApp messages for you here.
Yeah, no, Johnny Clegg, definitely a true legend.
Johnny, your music inspired me, and I'm very proud to be a South African.
Thank you.
Johnny Clegg, you're my hero, man.
I've been stuck on the N1 for just over 2 hours now, and I really think that everybody's just trying to stand still to listen to this hoax for one last time on radio. What an amazing hoax. Johnny Clegg, you legend.
I've actually had to pull off the road because I'm crying. All my life, Johnny Clegg has been iconic in our family. My husband could dance both our daughters to sleep in a total of 1 minute. One Johnny Clegg song and they're down. Thank you for the memory.
Johnny Clegg, we salute you.
OMG, Johnny, you rock. You are the king of time.
What an amazing, amazing interview. I can just say, wow. I have got tears of absolute adoration. That man is incredible.
Oi, thank you.
Thameen on the telephone. How's it, Thameen?
Good in you, Darren.
How's it? You said, thanks for ruining my makeup.
I did. I mean, oh my word, Johnny, good morning. You're driving to work, and you're all prepared, and you feel fine, and then you guys do this. You bring out the agenda is Johnny Clegg. And emotions and memories and everything just floods back. I mean, wow, really, guys. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for years and years of amazing music. And I think as South Africa, we just want to wish you well and all the best with your recovery and everything of the best to you. Good health.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And
again, thank you.
Sure.
Really, you unite South Africa with your music like no one else has ever done, and like no one else will probably be able to do because of the history that you come with. So, gosh, thanks a lot.
You're right.
You're reading my makeup also.
I mean, I don't think there will be another that will achieve the what you did, Johnny. Julia on the telephone as well. How's it, Julia?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Have you stopped crying?
Only just. My voice will definitely break.
What do you want to say to Johnny?
I grew up in the Drakensberg, and obviously now I live in Cape Town, but I don't remember a single dance where we didn't do the MP. And I mean, we were trying to keep our cool so much when we were, teenagers and that, wearing our stonewashed denim as tight as we could possibly get them. But it would always end up in an MP, from, khaki, short-clad farmers to the farm workers to the kids, all of us. And it's just, I mean, he spans all our lifetimes, from my children to my dad, to just all of us. And he truly is the fabric of our country. It's just, what an incredible interview. I'm just blown away. Didn't expect to find this on Wednesday morning, but
here we are.
Amazing.
Thanks, Julia.
Thank you. Yeah. Have a wonderful day.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Sure, we've got truck drivers going, I'm a truck driver. I'm a hardcore man's man, and I'm crying out my eyeballs.
Sure.
Johnny, that's you,
Thank you,
sir.
man. Thank
we
you so
salute
much,
you,
guys.
And all the best. And I found, I'm going into law. I'm going to start studying law next year, Johnny. It's always been a passion of mine. So I've been looking for a loophole to get you onto K-Day. Because you said you've said goodbye on stage.
Yes.
You know, in entertainment, there's such a thing called an encore. It's when you leave, and then you wait 20 seconds, and then you come back and you do 3 more songs. How's about an encore on K-Day? Make K-Day your encore, Johnny.
Back by popular demand.
Yes.
Sir Johnny Clegg.
Oh, wow.
The final farewell.
Yes, no? Gonna commit?
I'll have to discuss this with a number of other people who've got vested interests.
Just a final message here.
OMG, Johnny, you rock. You are the king of time.
Oh my God, this is so awesome. Is the other word for it. I love you, Johnny. You've been part of my life for a long time.
Wow, King of Time. What an awesome track, Johnny. Well done. It is brilliant.
Mark's here. A new single that sounds nostalgic in a way as well. That is an awesome, awesome, awesome song. Thank you so much for your contribution to South African music, Mr. Clegg. You are an inspiration to us all.
Johnny Clegg, what a legend. I have full contact singing.
One of my favorite memories was when I lived in London. We went to the Hammersmith and Apollo to watch Johnny, and we all walked in, and at the entrance we all got a castle lager. It was great. We all reminisced and had a wonderful night.
Hey guys, I think Johnny should run for president.
What an amazing person he is. Johnny Clegg for president. How would that be?
I think that's what you need to go into, sir.
Oh, that's my next vacation.
Too much stress. Don't do it.
No, please. No.
Johnny Clegg, the king of time, we salute you, sir. Thank you for being gracious with your time.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to say goodbye to everybody on the road this morning who listened in and who shared their feelings with me. It's been a wonderful tribute and a very powerful validation. Thanks very much, guys.
So Johnny Clegg.
Johnny.
When I'm searching for a great heart to stand me by.